Welcome to the YDD Reengagement Data Collection tutorial. In this video, we will walk through the required data elements. Okay, let's begin. First, in columns A through D, you will list the full legal names of all eligible youth enrolled in your reengagement program. Please note you will not include all youth you did outreach to, but the youth who enrolled in the reengagement program. Also, it's possible for a youth to have more than one row if the youth enrolls, exits, and then re-enrolls based on your program's exit and enrollment policies. Next, columns E and F ask for unique student identifiers that the public schools use. We ask that all fields in the spreadsheet be completed, but if you are a CBO struggling to get this information, make sure you have the accurate names and birth dates of your enrolled youth. Okay, so moving forward in columns H and I, there are drop downs for student identified gender and race. And then in column J, the current grade, you will indicate the enrolled grade level or grade assigned by age for the youth. And you can see the blue tab for more information. But let's take a look at the 12th grade plus option. It might help to think of the 12th grade plus option as a second year senior. Here it means a youth who was enrolled the first time as a senior. So a youth who was enrolled as a senior at age 17 years or older, and then the youth leaves high school and then comes back a second year when they're 18 years or older. So this is a case where you use the 12 grade plus for that second senior year enrollment. Also, you can see the drop-down option Adult Ed, and this is the option that you will select for a youth enrolled in a GED program or in an adult high school diploma program. Okay, so let's move forward. In column K, you will enter the youth high school entry cohort school year. Columns L and M ask for the district and school where the youth is receiving high school completion instruction. To find these school and districts codes, use the green tab for the institutional ID lookup. Please do try to look up the school and district. You might be surprised to find your school listed there. All right, next, columns N and O are specific to schools if an IEP or 504 is on file for the youth. Column P is a text entry field for students to identify their tribal membership. Okay, so from this point, we get into the re-engagement program specific data. And you will see here in column Q, eligibility code. So any and all youth that are listed in this spreadsheet must fit into one of the four eligibility requirements. Please pay attention to the details of the eligibility requirements when selecting which one applies to the eligible youth. Column R, living situation, indicates student identified current living situation. STU are student identified reasons for disengagement from school. Please list at least one. So column S must be complete. And then if we move forward here in VWX, we have the student identified primary reason for enrolling in a re-engagement program. So please make sure that you have at least V completed on this spreadsheet. And then if we move forward to column Y, we have re-engagement program entry status, and this indicates where the student is entering the re-engagement program from. There is additional information on the blue tab, but let's take a look at just a couple. For returning student, you would use this for a student who was in an existing re-engagement program as of January 1 when the grant began. And Oregon Regular High School, you would select this if the student was last enrolled in an Oregon Regular High School before they entered into the re-engagement program. Okay, column Z, referral source, indicates how the student was referred to the re-engagement program. You can see additional information on the blue tab on the column Z as well. Okay, so let's move on to double A, re-engagement begin date. Um, this, of course, is the first day that the student began the period of re-engagement. So for eligible students already enrolled in an existing program prior to the grant award, you will put in January 1, 2021 as their start date. In column AB, re-engagement end date, this is the date that the student withdrew from or completed their period of re-engagement, or the date, whichever one is earlier. And so note, the programs will determine their policies around when an exit from a re-engagement program is to set this date. Um, and for students who will continue in the re-engagement program after the grant cycle ends, please put June 30th, 2021 as an end date so that this field is complete. Okay, so if we look at AC, re-engagement program end date status, this will describe the student's status when they complete or exit from the re-engagement program. There is additional information in the blue tab on these drop downs as well. And here, let's go over just a couple. If we look at that returning student, as of June 30th, if the student is expected to continue in the re-engagement program, you can select returning student. If the students have exited into different types of schooling, different types of programs, you can select where they have transitioned to or exited to. Now, please note that when the spreadsheet went out, the 3 highlighted drop-down options were missing from the original data spreadsheet. And so basically when you're trying to determine, okay, what's my student's end date status, if they fall into any of the yellow highlighted columns, you're going to be forced to put other for those students. And so in order to capture that missing data, we did send out some communication asking for a list of the students' names who completed their high school diploma or GEDs, who are not attending school but are employed in Oregon, or are not attending school and are not employed in Oregon, so that we don't miss that data set. Okay, and in column AD, you'll write down the number of credits earned through the re-engagement program. In column AE, you'll record the number of GED tests passed. And in column AF, diploma type, this column is asking for the type of credential earned, and you can see more information on the blue tab. Please select not applicable if no diploma and no GED credential was earned during this re-engagement period. And finally, in AG, employed during the school year, this is if the student identifies employment at some point in the grant cycle, you will select yes. Note that this should be paid employment, which the student has been doing. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the data entry fields. I'm putting up my name and contact information. If you have any questions about this spreadsheet at all, please feel free to reach out. I know that this is a whole lot of work, and we're really hopeful that we're going to get some really good information on our youth and all of the great work that you're doing out there. So thank you for your time. We hope that it was helpful. Thank you.